want to talk about the end of 2024 and this powerful shift that's coming as we enter 2025. This year is really setting the stage for the coming 3 years. What happens in the next 3 years is going to be in the history books. We can see this astrologically due to the planets that rule our collective evolution switching out of the signs they've been in for quite some time. And they're shifting out of these signs into new signs within a very short time frame. Every planet from Jupiter out to Pluto is changing signs between the month of November 2024 to July of 2025. Pluto is moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. This is official November 19th. Neptune is moving out of Pisces into Aries, March 2025. Uranus is moving out of Taurus into Gemini, July of 2025. Saturn is moving out of Pisces and into Aries, May of 2025. And Jupiter will be moving out of Gemini into Cancer. And this is all happening within a very short period. So these planets are closing out their cycles in the signs they've been in and shifting into new signs, which is really about this powerful shift in collective consciousness. In some way, we are being propelled into a new era. A new direction is coming about for humanity. We are going through a very powerful purification process, which always occurs before a growth period or a period of major progression, which is the next 3 years. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of upheaval, there's a lot of unrest collectively, there's a building sense of heaviness and even conflict in the atmosphere at this time. And this happens before a big shift occurs. A lot of the dense physical, emotional, mental energies and material that's been built up over a period of time, our lifetime, is coming up for release, and it's coming up to be purged and to be cleared. This applies to this life. If you're a reincarnationist, we'd also say this also has to do with energy that's in our energy field from even prior lives. So a lot is coming up for release, a lot is coming up to be cleared, and even in the material side of life, even on the physical plane of life, there are specific systems and structures and programs that are just outdated and sort of past their expiration and are going through a rapid decline at this time, a rapid change. So things at various levels are transforming, and regardless of one's beliefs, looking at the world, looking at all the world events, we know this is happening. But from a more spiritual perspective, this corresponds to this higher energy that's coming into the collective and onto the planet, and it's pushing a lot to the surface, and it's confronting us with old issues and old material. It's resurfacing a lot of old conflicts. And there's a need to meet with this material and to process it and also clear it from our system. This is a process of evolution that we're going through. We are in a kind of birth process. We are experiencing the deeper convulsions and contractions of change, which are erupting into the collective. Even in the next 2 years, we're going to see this quite dramatically. There's a great shift happening through 2025 and 2026. And this evolutionary pressure is really being applied to all of us at this time. And it's forcing a lot to surface in our lives and in ourself. And it's surfacing in order for it to be transformed. And this has to happen in order for the coming age to take shape. So it is an initiation of sorts. And initiation is about personal transformation and evolution. It's about expansions in consciousness. As we as individuals evolve through these expansions in consciousness, so does humanity. So does humanity evolve. And that's really the purpose behind this energy that's coming in. It is wiping out a lot of the old order, a lot of the old structures and systems and old conditioning. It's really, clearing out what won't be going forward into the new era, into the new reality, which is going to take a number of years to get to. Now let's look at the astrology regarding this process and the shifts that we can expect. On November 19th, Pluto officially enters Aquarius and stays in Aquarius. It's going to be in Aquarius until March of 2043. So we have quite a number of years with this energy. Pluto moving into Aquarius, this is happening for the first time in 248 years. So the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was 248 years ago. And when Pluto's been in Aquarius in the past, we've had the Industrial Revolution, which obviously radically changed life on Earth. The modern age was born through the Industrial Revolution. The American Constitution was written when Pluto was in Aquarius. We had the French Revolution, the American Revolution, even the Age of Enlightenment is connected to this, which promoted individual liberty and religious freedom. Pluto in Aquarius is connected to revolutions and rebellions and powerful social and political movements and developments at an ideological level, at a social level, at a political level. Pluto in Aquarius is about reforming the old rules, the old structures, the old paradigms. And it's also about disrupting the old rules, the old structures, the old paradigms, and coming up with new ones. So we will see life-changing inventions. We will see our daily lives being kind of radically changed while Pluto is in Aquarius. In this sign, we also, in a really wonderful way, become more aware of how connected we really are and how everything is interconnected and how one action or one event can affect many networks of life and living beings. And this is part of this new consciousness that's trying to come in with Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius, the dominant impulse in the sign of Aquarius is freedom, collective freedom, individual freedom. It has to do with this urge for liberation, specifically from restrictions, limitations, oppression, suppressive and repressive influences. Pluto in Capricorn, which as we speak in November at the last degree of, it's part of why everything's so heightened and so intense. Pluto in Capricorn is about looking at the dark side of a lot of these figures and systems and structures that hold power and control and hold authority in the world. And Pluto a lot of times exposes the shadow side of things, the corruption, the secrets, the lies, where power has been abused. It shines a light on the limitations and the restrictions, put upon us through these systems, through these structures, through hierarchy. Pluto in Capricorn rules patriarchy. So this is all kind of coming into a head, specifically in November. And as Pluto shifts into Aquarius, we are entering this era of breaking free, of liberating, of major scientific, social, and political revolution. In Aquarius, we're interested in building a new age, a new world. And yes, there will be events that really catalyze this, and there will be a kind of awakening happening. Aquarius has to do with this kind of awakening in consciousness that has to do with our future and where we're going. Aquarius is very concerned with the future. Capricorn likes tradition, keeping it the way it's been. Aquarius is about doing it differently. It's about innovating and revolutionizing and finding a new way to the future, toward the future. So Aquarius continues, with Pluto and Aquarius, we continue to experience this exposure of what isn't working in society and continue to purge what's toxic, what's not serving where we're going for our future. And things will accelerate. There will be a lot of awakenings on the planet. This will come through, again, events and experiences people are having. But these awakenings are pushing us to shed, restructure, and revolutionize our world and society. There will be a lot of disruption through this period because, again, this is about this process of birthing a new age of some sort. Something that's really highlighted with Pluto and Aquarius is groups, networks, communities, our interconnectedness, and our need to cooperate with each other, to live together, even with our differences, even with our different worldviews, even with our different belief systems. Aquarius values individuality, and it is going to be a time period where we each start to actually tap into what our actual gifts are and skills are and what we can bring to the table for the greater good. What contribution are we supposed to make? So we will be seeing people stepping into new callings, going through radical shifts in their life path and their vocational path. A lot of people will get a call to use their gifts and skills in new ways in society. The spirit of innovation is alive when Pluto is in Aquarius. We're finding better ways of doing things. Aquarius is divergent in nature. It breaks with convention. It's about inventing a new future of some sort. And there's going to be a strong thirst for change. There's going to be a real longing for a better future. Aquarius rules the collective, we the people. So there's an idea here of, events happening and developments occurring that make us aware that we need to come together, that we need to work together to create change. So it's very much about the fraternity of humankind and gathering together and, in the name of a higher cause, working to improve planet Earth in some way. It's really about working with the good of the collective, and it is a time frame where we're going to be inspired to take a different course, especially regarding how we've been living together, how society's been functioning up to this point. New values will be born, and it comes out of this new consciousness, this new awareness regarding who we are, what we're doing here, how connected we are to each other, and also the earth. So we're gonna, what they were talking about in the 1960s with the age of Aquarius, this is something we're gonna be tapping into through this time frame. Remember, Aquarius is the water bearer in the zodiac. So it shows a person pouring water out of an urn or a jug. And the water is washing away the past and making way for something new to come in. And the water isn't actually water that's coming out of that urn. It's universal knowledge. It's new consciousness. It's higher consciousness. And what that is it's about us finding new visions, new knowledge. It's about a new understanding of our future. It's about new ideals coming into the collective that we need to be working toward and striving toward. It's this also desire coming in for us to reform and to grow as a civilization. Now, wherever Pluto is in your chart, wherever it's moving in your birth chart, this is an area where you personally are going to be receiving these energies, and it's where it's going to be reaching you in your own life. And it's an area that's going to go through major progression through this period. So this new consciousness will be coming into this department of your life, revolutionizing it. You'll be going through a big awakening in this area, very transformative growth. And remember, Aquarius is about our individuation. So we will see you taking further steps in your own individuation in this area. You'll be liberating from your past in this department of your life. and you'll be reinventing yourself in some way in this area. We will be in this area very much pressured to go through our own transition regarding Capricorn to Aquarius. Capricorn is the old order, Aquarius is the new order. And so where this falls in your birth chart, you will also be making that transition in that area. Now, next year, we also have Saturn and Neptune entering Aries. Neptune is in Aries, March 30th, 2025 is when it moves into Aries. It stays in Aries until 2039. The last time Neptune was in Aries was 165 years ago. And this puts us back into 1861 through 1875. And that was when, in the United States, we had the American Civil War. So we are revisiting an energy that last time we were in it was when we had the American Civil War. Now, with Neptune in Aries, we're going to see and experience a lot of social unrest, which we've already got doses of, but we will see more, and also revolution. We already have that coming in with Pluto and Aquarius. Neptune in Aries is driving up that theme. There will also be widespread spiritual awakening, especially regarding this idea of a more inclusive sort of global society, which Pluto and Aquarius is also supporting. So Neptune going into Aries, we will see very powerful spiritual growth happening. Historically, when Neptune goes into Aries, we do see a lot of crusades, and we see a lot of uprising, and we see a lot of rebellions. We see empires and nations, kind of breaking apart in some way. And typically there's kind of a massive loss in our faith in leadership or in specific systems and structures that have held power. This again is part of Pluto moving into Aquarius. Neptune in Aries is heightening this as well. But there's a wonderful opportunity with Neptune in Aries that we will be going through a form of spiritual renaissance. This is also a placement that can speak to kind of a global spiritual awakening. Last time Neptune was in Aries, we did see the rise of spiritualism. We did see a lot of the New Thought movement be born. We also saw the rise of socialism with Karl Marx, really targeting the foundations of capitalism, and really also, a lot of movements regarding better conditions for people and their rights. So when Neptune goes into Aries, there is this idea of a new vision being needed. Aries is about new beginnings. It's a sign that's about initiating change. And along with Pluto and Aquarius, we're going to see a fight for freedom. Neptune in Aries is going to bring, along with Pluto and Aquarius, progressive thinking, new visions, new inspirations into the collective. We're going to see lots of social and spiritual activism, and we're going to see new forms of leadership coming in. Where Neptune in Aries is occurring in each of our charts, we will have our own sort of personal crusade coming in. We will go through our own sort of spiritual awakening in this area. We will be getting new intuitive impulses. We'll be forging new paths. And it is a time, where we're going to be definitely getting some new ideals and developing a new spiritual framework of some sort, and accessing new levels of consciousness as well. Neptune has so much to do with consciousness and the collective consciousness. Now, the planet Saturn will conjoin Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries. This is happening in July of 2025. It will actually perfect February 20th of 2026. Nonetheless, though, it will be taking effect in 2025. This conjunction between Saturn and Neptune, it happens approximately every 36 years, not in Aries, but in a sign. Last time Saturn and Neptune formed a conjunction was in 1989, which coincided with the fall of the Berlin Wall and also the disintegration of the Soviet Union. And we saw it was a period of global shift toward new political realities. So whenever Saturn and Neptune come together, these are cycles where we get these themes of the end of old forms, old structures, followed by the emergence of new paradigms. And again, there's a big emphasis on individual rights. Historically, we are talking about, with Pluto in Aquarius and Neptune in Aries, certain systems, existing systems, having to break down so we can establish new ones. And there's a heightened sense in the next 2 to 3 years of a disillusionment, in the people, in the collective, regarding leadership, regarding these systems that are structuring our lives. And also, we are experiencing the seeding of new leadership and new systems. So this is a period of very significant cultural, social, political shifts. And there is kind of a spiritual reawakening that is coming through with this placement as well. And there's a big opportunity for us to redefine and rebuild these foundational structures in society and do it in a way that's more spiritually aligned. Saturn is going into Aries next year as well. Remember, in astrology, mundane astrology, Saturn rules system structures like government, authority, status, hierarchy. This is a planet that has to do with even our existing life structure, our status quo, our personal sense of reality. So, with the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn, this is about structures dissolving in our own lives, but also in society. And this means, certain institutions and certain long-held belief systems and a certain paradigm is shifting. And some of this is deteriorating. And again, this is about, especially in Aries, new impulses, new directions, new seeds being ready to be planted in some way. With Saturn moving into Aries, this is about, especially wherever it falls in our birth chart, this starts in May of 2025. This is about building something new, pioneering something new. There's pressure on each of us, wherever this is occurring, to take charge of this area of our life, to personally initiate and to take responsibility in this area. There will be deep questioning around our identity and our purpose in this department. We're going to be going through really important self-discovery in this area to really get to the bottom of who we are, what we want, and give ourselves new self-definition in some way. We will also have to face a lot of fears in this area. And, we may be asked to depart from a course that we've been on and start to explore an entirely new path of some sort. Aries is about leadership, and it is about the collective reshaping how we view authority, how we view leadership, how we define that in our world, in our society. There's going to be a big pressure to reform systems of authority and, governance. And we will move away from ego-driven leadership, and we'll be kind of demanding and asking for and putting together a more mature expression of leadership. Now, with Saturn in Aries, wherever it is in our chart, we're going to establish a new identity, a new direction. We're going to be pioneering a new path forward. We'll do this collectively as well, regarding building out new structures, new directions for us collectively, laying the groundwork for the future. Where Saturn is moving in Aries for you, you may also get in touch with your real mission. You may get a new mission coming into your life. So those are some key themes when Saturn goes into Aries. And, it's interesting in the sign of Aries, In the sign of Aries, we oftentimes have to face some kind of battle or challenge around authority or any kind of suppressive energy. And this has to do with this process of, paving the way for something new, blazing a new trail. But there's an idea here of needing to kind of confront what's oppressive and suppressive, and through our own strength and staying true to ourselves and our ideals and our vision, we have to continue to blaze sort of a new way forward. This is a period of a lot of action with Aries. It's a period where we're going to be doing a lot collectively and individually. It's not a sedentary period. Now, Uranus is also entering Gemini, July of 2025 through 2033. So a couple of years. This is important because while Uranus moves into Gemini, the United States is entering its Uranus return. That means Uranus is returning to the place it was at the birth of the United States in the United States birth chart. Yes, countries have birth charts. And interestingly, Israel will also be going through their Uranus return while the United States is going through its. So if we look back at the United States' previous Uranus returns, they aligned perfectly with the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and the last time we had it was during World War II. This doesn't mean we're going to be in a war, but it is a period where the United States is going to be redefining itself in some way. The first time it was during the Revolutionary War, the Americans against the British. The second was the Union against slavery during the Civil War. And the last, the World War II, was about, it was this fight against fascism and communism. So in a way, through this period, in some way, the United States will be redefining itself, and especially through whatever plays out, whatever drama plays out through this period. Remember, Uranus is a planet that's about change. It's revolutionary. It's unexpected. It's a planet that's about freedom, revolution, rebellion, liberation, breaking free of the past. You think about each of these time periods, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II. This was going on. This was highly active, these themes. And with Uranus, there's a need to break down the old and restructure and reorganize things, reform things. So when we're dealing with a Uranus transit, we're dealing with disruptions to the status quo that are about progress or in some way progress us. This is a period where we go through radical shifts in societal norms. It's big surprises, big revelations, big awakenings that can lead to innovation, technological invention, new forms of creativity. There can be very liberating events that occur. You think about, even those last time periods I listed. It can be a period of very liberating events, but there's also destined to be very unpredictable and disruptive changes to our status quo in some way. Now, it's in the sign of Gemini, and, Pluto's going to be in Aquarius, which is an air sign. Uranus is going to be in Gemini, another air sign. So the energy on the planet is moving faster. It's feeling more electric in some way. It's going to create an atmosphere where we could experience some very groundbreaking ideas, really powerful intellectual revolutions. Gemini has everything to do with communication, the intellect, travel. We will see major changes in our way of thinking, in our neural networks, and neuro pathways. Uranus in Gemini indicates these sort of massive awakenings and shifts in how we think and understand our consciousness, reality. It encourages us to think in new ways. And it can be, through this time period, this can be a byproduct of sudden insights or discoveries that essentially, completely challenge our status quo. You think back to the past, during the scientific revolution. Uranus was in Gemini at the dawn of the scientific revolution in the 1600s. This was a time period where there was this explosion of discoveries and innovations that totally changed the way we look at the world and understand the world around us. There's going to be more of that coming that totally change our understanding of our status quo. This is another paradigm shifting transit. Gemini is inquisitive in nature. It's a sign that's very inquisitive. It's about new information, new perspectives. It's about innovation in the areas of writing, of teaching, of networking, of media, of technology, all mediums of communication. In an interesting way, with regards to these breakthroughs in our thinking and our understanding of consciousness, we can see more and more people sort of breaking out what we call the matrix, or has been called the matrix. We can start to actually develop also some of our inner technology that we have, not just our outer technology. There will be major breakthroughs and innovations in science. Again, Uranus in Gemini goes back to the Age of Enlightenment, the Industrial Revolution, the Scientific Revolution. So this is a time period where, we see a lot of changes, and through all those mediums that we share knowledge and information, and especially in education, all the ways in which we educate ourselves in our education systems. This is a major period of advancement in that sense. We will be flooded with a lot of revolutionary ideas. They will be flooding the collective. Uranus rules the higher mind, the higher mental body, the intuitive mind. So we'll be getting a lot of really big downloads, and this is what's going to lead to a lot of major discoveries that alter our minds completely, collectively. So major epiphanies, revelations, major alteration of our mind happening wherever Uranus is entering in our birth chart as well. This is an area slated for progress, and we will experience disruptions there, but we'll also go through this rewiring, and we will have this ability wherever this is placed to be more attuned to these incoming waves of thought. Essentially, when Uranus is in Gemini, our mental faculties quicken, they increase. So these are some of the primary shifts coming up here, within a very short period. And the end of this year, November, December, it's prepping us, and the events occurring in our own lives on the collective world stage, even these issues, overseas that are rearing their head at this time and starting to build. This is all in preparation for what is to come in 2025. The stage is being set for this major progression, and it will be like moving through a wind tunnel or being shot out of a cannon. We are being propelled forward, and we will all feel that. This is going to be a period where all our lives change in the next, 2 to 3 years, and that it can be in the form of a huge change in our career path, where we live, our relationships, how we go about our lives. This is going to be a period where we collectively are being sort of rearranged, reorganized in our individual lives, as well as a collective body. And it's all for the better. There's a quality here, and that's the beauty of astrology. This is slated to happen. And from a spiritual perspective, we may have chosen to be here for this. Now, right now, there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of upheaval in the air. And part of this has to do with our knowing of what is to come, our sensing, our intuiting of what is to come. And I think the biggest thing is not tuning into the negative or the dense energy that is trying to be released. And with the Pluto-Mars opposition, November through January specifically, even though it's active until April, there's going to be a lot of releasing going on, a lot of reactive energy. And so it's really important that we maintain this higher perspective of where we're going. It is an initiation we're all going through collectively. It is about this really important progression and expansion in consciousness that needs to happen on the planet, because the old order, the old consciousness, it isn't sustainable, and that has to change. And so everything that's happening is applying pressure to the psyches of us as individuals and also the collective to get us to go through these breakthroughs, these revolutions in consciousness. And we'll see this play out on the external plane in the form of major revolution, major change. And we have to embrace that. And if we do, it will be just the most remarkable period. It will come with its challenges, its crises. A lot of these events that come up have to do with mass awakening, that we aren't allowed to be an ostrich with our head in the sand anymore. We have to grow. We have to evolve. We have to step into this different state of consciousness around who we are, how we're connected, our relationship with the earth, all of it. There will be a lot coming in to support us in this. There's a lot of supportive energy coming in the next 2 years as well. That's very positive. That's really helping us progress in this better direction for the future. So buckle up. We're all feeling it, and we're all in it together. There's nothing to be fearful of, but it's important we're aware that these important shifts are occurring and we're partaking in them, and we need to decide how we want to participate as these changes and as this energy rolls out in our lives and on the world stage collectively. I'll see you soon.